What's going on, guys? It's your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ, and this is the Fantasy Heat Check. My boy Cody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have
week.
just a beautiful game of football on tonight. Colts, Jets, Carson Wentz, Mike White. I mean, this is the stuff dreams are made of.
Yes, sir. I mean, I'm really excited to see what Mike White has in store, but we'll get into the Thursday night game very soon.
Mike White.
I mean, he came out of nowhere. He has some swag. I like.
He whooped my Bengals, dude. He made us look like fools.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it, by the way. I was waiting for you to just say it.
Yeah. Hey, Bengals going to Bengals.
How can you beat the Ravens the way you did, but then lose to the Jets?
We sat back on after the media was finally like, I think it's time to give the Bengals credit. And then we
jinxed it. But let's get into some news. I mean, honestly, the only relevant news right now, which is like crazy, that's been erupting, that has fantasy impact, redraft impact, dynasty impact, all in one. Odell Beckham, for the second day, has been excused from the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what it looks like, in the future, but this doesn't look good right now.
Yeah, and LQ, I know you're going to say I told you so I'll just take the words right out of your mouth here. He was absolutely all over your do not draft list this offseason, and I have 0 shares of Odell Beckham Jr. this season. Thank goodness.
You made it out clean, man.
I'm not willing to drop him just because I think he does end up getting cut. I think he ends up on another team. But that being said, like, at best, he's a flex option, like maybe. So
I gotta be honest though, like the one buddy I talked to, he's dropping him based on like he's looking at it like he only has 3 wins. It's not like if he goes to another team, he's gonna make the playoffs. Like it's too late. He also has Allen
I feel
Robinson. His team is very depressing, actually.
Yeah, that's tough, dude.
Shout out to you, Dan.
Got me.
I didn't even drop them.
Poor Dan. But yeah, I'm excited for I don't know. I can't believe they didn't move him at the trade deadline. Like that was
very weird. I feel as though they did, though. There was a report saying that they had trade offers, but none of it made sense. I don't know what that means because honestly, even a 6th-round pick, for Odell Beckham,
anything is better than nothing.
And you could bring in and develop other players. I mean, slowly but surely, Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's somebody I want to highlight right now. He's slowly but surely becoming like one of those guys you need to have on your rosters, because if Odell Beckham's going to constantly be excused, because honestly he didn't practice two days, so he's most likely not going to play the next game. So it is what it is. But Peoples-Jones, man, I definitely feel as though very undervalued right now.
Yeah, and I don't want to talk about the 2022 season too much, but like the Browns are the number one like destination for a wide receiver, or at least need of a wide receiver. I don't know if they're the number one destination with that run first offense.
I feel as though like who do they bring in? Because I don't want to see a Devontae Parker there. I don't want to see Allen Robinson there. I kind of feel like the offense is way better when Jarvis Landry is 100% healthy.
Jarvis Landry is not a number one receiver. I love Jarvis Landry. The dude is a guy that like helps you win championships. Like but he's not a number one like he is a reliable target week in, week out, like your first down guy, but like he's not a number one wide receiver. It is what it is.
But from a real a real football standpoint, the offense just looks better without Odell Beckham. Just completely better. There's no pressure there to worry about him being a diva. I mean, Baker looked good last year.
Talk about all the the Browns' weapons that have been disappointing over the last couple of years. Njoku, Austin Hooper, Odell Beckham Jr. Like they brought in all these guys, and they honestly have done a little to nothing. So it's just crazy to see it not work. Speaking of people no longer working, Michael Thomas will not be playing this year. I hate drafting injured wide receivers. Injured players, period. Right? This is AJ Green 2.0. This is AJ Green 2 years ago, right? Last year, AJ Green was just straight up not good. But 2 years ago, AJ Green nursed an injury literally the entire season, never once made it to IR and missed all 16 games.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas essentially is doing the same thing.
I think it's deeper than that, man. When you look at, like, if we backtrack the timeline, like, even with AJ Green, like, if you go back to there, like, if you go back with Michael Thomas, like, it was, like, adding up. Like, let's not forget he punched a player in the face.
Yeah.
And then had some words with Sean Payton.
I think he's played his last snap as a New Orleans Saint.
Yes.
I really do.
And this was before the injury.
Last snap as a New Orleans Saint.
Yes. This was before the injury. So it's like he got paid. He started feeling himself. Reports saying that, they weren't liking how he was treating the staff. I guess he was like a hothead or whatever the case may be. So it was a character issue there already before the injury. And then the injury happens. And then it's like, I'm going to milk this because one, Drew Brees just retired. Hell no, I'm not coming back. Trade me. Then you find out that, they bring in Jameis Winston back. It looks a little great. He's on the verge to come back from injury. And then Winston's out for the season.
Bro, I don't know if it is like pure coincidence, but literally Jameis tears his ACL. The next day they announced he is out for the season.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm done.
The following day, Michael Thomas is like, I ain't coming back, bro. He's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
But look at it though.
It's wild.
You look at the timeline. I'll go back to Drew Brees and his comments about, Colin Kaepernick and et cetera. And that's when, Michael Thomas went at him on Twitter. Again, before the injury, all this stuff was erupting. And then you find out, him and Sean Payton sat together, tried to get their differences out. But a meeting that only took 30 minutes for something that's been brewing for 2 years, I don't think that ended well.
Nah, I don't think so either. I think he's gone. And I think the Saints won't be afraid to move him either. That's the thing. Is like this, the Saints won't be afraid to move him. So
that contract's healthy though. So I think it has to be a team that can afford him.
Yeah.
It has to make sense.
They'll find somebody in the offseason. Another guy down for injury. The fantasy community is heartbroken. Derrick Henry done for the year. Jones fracturing his foot.
Terrible.
It's not like you can't predict injuries, but the dude was on pace for a record number of touches.
Oh my God. It sucks.
Yeah, it's super tough. I think Adrian Peterson is a valuable fantasy asset.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a running back one. He is not replacing Derrick Henry. Are you willing to start him in a lineup this week, or do you need to wait?
I need to wait. I need to see. We need to see if these guys are ready to go, like football shape. Like Jeremy Nichols is the only person that I will flex, but not this week. You're insane. Not this week. Not against my boys. Like, I think people need to pump the brakes on Jeremy Nichols because I saw people spend crazy fab. I seen somebody spend their last, like $45, their last on him. Crazy. But it's like, that's nuts, man. Like, I feel as though you're trying to replace Derrick Henry because you're expecting said guy to have that workload.
Yeah, you want the touches, but like it's just not.
It's not. This offense is going to be very depressing. It's going to be more depressing for when we watch, the Titans go against the Jets with no AJ Brown, no Julio Jones. You know what I mean?
And I see that some people are saying, well, this is going to be a boost for AJ Brown. No, it ain't. The offense got worse.
Right?
And like, I understand AJ Brown's going to get more looks. Like, yeah, that's great. But like, they're probably going to score less or be in scoring position less.
Not going to be a rhythm.
I think it's a burden for the offense. That being said, dude, all day being back, bro, like that, I'm pretty hyped for it, dude. Like, that's my childhood. Like, he was one of my first. Like, I'm pretty sure he was the number 1 overall pick the first year I started playing fantasy football. Like, love me some AD. He's like 450 yards away from passing Barry Sanders, is like 4th all time in rushing. So,
I mean,
he should get that, right? Like 450 this year. Like, he should get it. Rest of the year,
he's good for 50 yards, and I feel as though even from a fantasy standpoint, we're going to be like praying he falls into the end zone, even though he's not bad in the red zone. I just feel as though this offense isn't just going to be that great for him to have that many scoring opportunities.
Here's the thing, though. He is I think he's like 6 touchdowns away from getting 3rd in the all-time touchdown list, passing Marcus Allen. He'll get that. They'll get him that.
Full send. I want him to get touches. Like, hear me out. I want the offense to lean on him, believe in him. If AP has his attitude, like, you remember when he went to the Saints? Worst situation for him ever. But I feel as though they didn't believe in him, and it obviously caused tension. And he was out there running hard. And like what we saw in Detroit, man, he was running hard as if he was still like 26, 27 years old.
Bro, when he was on the Washington football team, he still looked solid too.
Yeah, so like, he was leaping over guys like Bryce Love. He was leaping over Geis before his situation. Bro, and I feel as though with AP there, he was just a dog, man.
The dude is a ridiculous athlete. Athlete. So good to see him back in football. Hate it to be because of an injury, but it is what it is. LQ, is there any other big news that obviously the Henry Ruggs news is terrible, droppable in all formats. Don't drink and drive. It's not.
Yeah.
Don't drink and drive. Like, there's no excuse.
I know we all have fun. We drink on the podcast, and we always promote drink responsibly, though. You know what I mean? That's number one. Drinking and driving, man, it's just insane. Especially with you having that status. Not being aware of who you are. That's what it really comes down to. You being careless, selfish at the end of the day. But we don't need to go too crazy into it. But
nope.
Prayers out to the family.
Nope. And I think that pretty much wraps up the news for the week.
Yes.
Cool.
We can get into the Thursday night game.
Yeah, beautiful.
Who are we kicking it off with? I mean, honestly, the hottest fantasy player this week possibly has to be Michael Carter.
Oh, I was not going to say Michael Carter.
It has to be Michael Carter. This Thursday night is going to turn up.
I get he was the number 1 running back last week. That Bengals defense looked terrible. I don't know what it was, because honestly, the Bengals defense has been pretty solid all year. But I mean, Ty Johnson was fantasy relevant last week too.
Yeah,
I just don't think that's going to happen against this Colts defense. Darius Leonard is too damn good at linebacker.
Listen,
DeForest Buckner is good. I was going with a different Michael, but we can talk about Michael Carter first.
I feel Michael
Carter, Carter, he's a starter now, right?
Yeah, basically he's a starter.
Week in, week out, like I don't see a reason that I'm taking Michael Carter out of my lineups unless I have some other crazy, better situation. But
I mean,
I'm fine with having him sit as my running back too for the rest of the year, and I feel pretty good about it.
I feel as though you have to look at it from this. Like, the Jets are finding a rhythm now. I honestly believe, Mike White, they're going to lean on him. They're going to lean on him to make the plays that he made against the Bengals. Even when, Zach Wilson got hurt, he came in. He didn't look terrible. You know what I mean? Yep. He threw for 200 yards. And for somebody to finish the back end of the game and throw for 200 yards, your first start, you're nervous, blah, blah, blah. He looked good. And I feel as though tonight, if they lean on what's working is Michael Carter has led the Jets in targets and receptions the last 2 weeks. 23 targets, 20 catches. It's a crazy ratio. He had 14 targets last week. If they lean on that, they're set. Because let's not forget that Ty Johnson was fantasy relevant last week as well, getting himself some targets out of the backfield as well. So they're running a 1-2 punch with them catching. Corey Davis is inactive. You got to full send it, man.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting if we could see Elijah Moore get a little more run here. Would love to see him. Not necessarily. I mean, I would love to see him break out, but
it's so
just love to see him have a little bit more of a role. I think it's more on the Jets' offense so far this year than it has been on Elijah Moore.
It's so disgusting how they're playing him, man. Like, he's so electric. The dude can catch in traffic. Use that. Like, I need more slants at him. Get him in open space. Like, do more things with him. Make him the focal point. I understand Corey Davis is the veteran guy there. Same with Jameson Crowder. Jameson Crowder is going to do what he does all the time, and that's fine. Yeah. You can have Elijah Moore stretch the field, play more in the middle, like whatever the case may be.
Yeah, Elijah Moore is just more than just a slot wide receiver.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Get him the ball.
Also, I am looking at this Jets roster. They have a Michael Carter on defense.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Insane. It's insane. So let's talk about my other Michael Michael Pittman Jr., absolute stud. 2 touchdowns last week. The dude is finally finding a rhythm. I know early in the season, the first 4 games, it was kind of a like, Michael Pittman, we're going to get a touchdown. What are we doing here? Touchdowns in 4 straight games after that, or 4 touchdowns in 4 games after that, whatever that stretch is. He has been on fire. He has established himself as the number 1 wide receiver on the Colts.
He's the alpha.
He looks good, man. He looks good.
He really does. What is your rest of the season prediction, though? Wide receiver what?
I think he finishes I want to say top 15, but I think like 16, 17, 18 is like right in where he finishes at the end.
I'll say top 15. Top 15 at 15, though.
Okay, yeah. Top 15, not top 10.
I only say top 15 because bearing injury, because he has the history as well. So I feel as though top 15 at 15, that's a solid spot to put him.
Yeah, and I mean, the dude's played great. And speaking of Colts who've played great, Jonathan Taylor, talk about people were worried about his usage and this, that, and the other. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to end up leading the league in rushing yards.
He's going to be 101. Yo, bro, I literally tweeted this the other day. Like, when we think about who's going to be 101, like who's going to be in the first round next year is already a question mark because of all the injuries, some people declining, etc. It's like, bro, he's going to be the clear-cut 101 if Frank Wright leans on him for this Derrick Henry workload we've been praying for him to get.
I love the thought of a Derrick Henry workload. The problem is I think smart football teams, not that the Titans aren't smart, but the Titans had to rely on that the Titans had to rely on a Derrick Henry type workload out of Derrick Henry in order to win games. I think if you run him into the ground, you're just going to hurt yourself. So I understand he doesn't need 30 touches a game, but if he could get 20 instead of 15 or 25 instead of 20, then we're cooking.
25.
Yeah. If he averaged like 20, 22 touches a game, I would be ecstatic. He would be a beast.
I would
surefire number 1.
Seriously lose it.
Yeah,
we've been waiting for this.
I really don't. I mean, the only other person that I would argue, Kamara, maybe, just because Kamara has been stupid consistent each and every year.
Man, you know who's coming back. You know who's coming back.
Mark Ingram.
No, it's even worse. Taysom Hill is on the return to kill Alvin Kamara.
Stop with that.
Bro, how many games did we see Taysom Hill butcher Alvin Kamara? Come on. It's coming. It's coming back. I can't wait.
You're not wrong.
I have this tweet saved in my drafts. Just waiting.
Bro, you got all sorts of shit saved in your drafts. I know your Twitter.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I got some ridiculous shit in there. There's some shit in there I got to think about, sit on, and I'll tweet like 2 days later.
I love it. Speaking of Twitter and Instagram, follow Real Deal Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram if you are not already. It's some incredibly fire content. Speaking of some absolute fire, what are we getting out of the quarterbacks tonight? Do you believe? I'm in a position where I'm starting Mike White in fantasy.
A lot of people.
And it's in our league because Taylor Heineke is on a bye. So I'm starting him in my Superflex spot.
Love to see it.
Yeah. It is. We're starting him at quarterback just in case Dak doesn't go again.
I'll take Carson Wentz. So I feel like Wentz tonight, if he plays patient football, if he plays where he's leaning on Michael Pittman again, he'll be successful. If he tries to work in like a Zach Pascal, we can't even say he's touchdown dependent anymore because he's not. He hasn't scored since week 2.
Yep.
So yeah, trash. Anyway, so I feel like if he just sticks to what's working, lean on the run game, lean on Pittman, there's not much mistakes that Carson Wentz can do because the stupid decision making and then the ugly interceptions, trying to play the hero. No, man, just stop. Stop.
Okay.
Patient football.
I don't blame the pick 6 on him. Why in God's green earth are you running a screenplay that vacates 3 offensive linemen inside of your own 5-yard line, Frank? Right?
That is true.
What the hell are we doing now?
That is true.
The interception in overtime, that was a bad interception. So
stupid decision making.
Yeah, because like
he's a veteran now.
Yeah, But like the best case scenario in the screenplay was a safety, and even then they still get the ball back.
I'm about to say get the ball back.
That's best case. Like, what are we doing here? So it is what it is. Colts, we got to get our play calling a little bit better.
What about Naeem Hines?
You know, on your damn play sheet that says Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Nyheim Hines. Just 1, 2, 3, and then just go in that order.
We need to talk about Nyheim Hines because Marlon Mack is inactive tonight. So we haven't seen anything of Hines since seriously, ever since we found out Marlon Mack was like being like advertised for trade, Nyheim Hines has not existed like at all. It's been like a solid 4 weeks. Yeah,
the Marlon Mack is talented. I think Nyheim Hines, I'm telling you, dude, he's the every 5 weeks he puts up 28 points for no reason and then disappears, right? So you'll never know when to start him, but I could see a Nyheim Hines game, if not tonight. I don't know when.
Thursday nights, it gets wild.
Thursday nights do get wild. I do love me some Marlon Mack. I wish he was traded at the trade deadline. I wish he was the Chief, but
honestly, I wish he was on the Chiefs.
That wouldn't be a bad trade, honestly. But he signed a 1-year deal in the offseason. Signed a 1-year deal, so he'll be a free agent next year. He's a guy who I think can help a backfield that needs
rotation.
Imagine Marlon Mack on the Bills.
Oof. Ooh.
Imagine Marlon Mack on the Bills. That would be so great for that offense. And they're not going to have to spend an arm and a leg to get the guy.
I know. I hate that, though. I'm thinking Miami. Get their
running that offensive line stinks, dude.
Okay, they got a year. They got a year to prep it. They got a year. They got to protect Tua. If they're going to keep Tua, they got to protect Tua.
That is factual.
Go O-line heavy next season or make some off-season moves because their running game is disgusting. It's trash.
Yeah.
And I feel like, instead of a Malcolm Brown, you can get a Marlon Mack, probably even cheaper because Marlon Mack doesn't really have a market out there this offseason.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You could get him for not a crazy amount. So would be interesting to see. There any other fantasy players we want to no tight ends are startable. Don't do not. We're not talking about Jack Doyle, dude. This isn't 2018, bro. Mo Alley Cox. Hey, do you know he played basketball in college? Pretty insane.
Yeah, he's very touchdown dependent though. That's what's annoying.
Bro, I have him on one of my dynasty teams.
Jesus.
Fuck Tua. Desmond is all out. He's like, I hate Tua. I hate the whole state of Alabama. Go Tigers. Roll Tide. What?
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Mo Alley Cox is a guy that I have on dynasty rosters just solely for fun. Because I would love for him to just one day just be what we all want him to be, which is Antonio Gates. So we'll see if it ever comes to fruition, but I have no faith in the Jets tight ends. I think we might have hit everything, man.
We did. We flew through this, man. It's been a great show. I mean, turned up for a solid, show. And Thursday night, you playing any DFS?
So I'm not doing any DFS. I do have a couple player props I like. Jonathan Taylor to score 2+ touchdowns. Ooh. Plus money. Just a little sprinkle on that. He's so good, dude. He's so good. And I'm pure chaos. I am parlaying together both quarterbacks to throw an interception because
nice
Thursday night football. Why not?
Yeah,
why not? Chaos. Give me some chaos. I love it.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Always something.
We had an awesome show. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Please run it up. I know I passed 1,000, but the goal now is 2,000. Let's go. Run it up. Like and subscribe. Make sure you follow Cody at Smash. Oh my God, I'm gonna destroy this. Smash Hit Sports.
Bro, it's not that Smash Hits Sports. What do we?
It sounded weird for a second.
How long have we been working together, dude? I did change the handle a year and a half ago. So I understand that you're slow to catch up. You're fired, bro. I work for you, bro. What are you doing?
You work with me, you bastard.
That's true.
Exactly, man. We're the best combo out there in the fantasy community, man. Definitely make sure you guys like and subscribe and follow us both. Definitely check us out next week. We'll have the mailbag ready to go, and we'll be ready to full Send it. Peace.